Welcome to Module 7 of Office Technology, talking about software to organize information, how the cloud can be used securely. Remember the key sources, especially the e-text and the lesson content. And keep citing the text and launching your own opinions whenever you get the opportunity to do so. And cite that text. And you may use a short form once you've cited it. And then, of course, cite the course lessons. Data entry is a skill, involves detail, careful work, asking questions. Sometimes the data to be entered is not clear and consistent. Maybe they gave you a address that doesn't make sense. If it doesn't make sense, of course, work on it. At the paralegal level, you're not there just to enter stuff. You're there to challenge items that don't look right, that may be duplicates, that may be for the wrong person, the wrong file folder, double, triple check things. It's harder to get things out of a system than it is to get them in. Once they're, especially with a system that is one of the more automatic ones that you buy. My case, Clio, some of those that the convenience of it is that if you enter something once, it'll duplicate it in numerous places. You enter it for file information, it will also enter it with billing information and other things. You need to really work with the help desk for the company and make sure that if you do make an error and you find out the address is wrong for somebody, for instance, or the email, whatever, that you fix it in such a way that it's fixed across the whole system. It does pay to enter Chapter 7 and read through it. Read through the lesson content. The course project, we are starting that. And a lot of times people ask me, well, what is the course project? What is it about? Well, it's about a combination of things. It isn't unified in the sense that we don't have a single scenario where you're going to keep working at the same group of facts. Basically, the course project is a way to show your skills, create a portfolio. And at the end, PowerPoint on what you learn, not necessarily what you hope to learn or what you thought you should learn, but what you personally actually learned. In the past, a lot of students really got that wrong because they thought they were just supposed to report again on what each portion of the project was about, and everything labeled project basically is part of the project. So PowerPoint slides is not the same as the Access contact list. So it's not a unified project that way, but it's a project to basically working on things. Okay, you say, well, for instance, if you didn't feel comfortable with Access, you should keep track of that. And of course, keep track of all your project items, the files of different kinds, whether it's PowerPoint, Access, Excel, Microsoft Word, and so on. Keep track of those for the project so that you can enter them at the end. and you don't have to combine them, but you can try to combine them at the end into a unified whole. There are ways to do that. You can combine them all into one type of file, but you don't have to. You know, a PDF or something like that, you could try that, but you don't have to. So collectively, the projects over week 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 are your project. Their essential theme of organization of a law office, work on contact lists this week, utilities to stay organized, sort and filter data, and prepare a presentation of what you learned. And I'm serious about it's what you learn this term. I have students that are already experts at technology. They learn one thing. I have students that started out without knowing very much at all about it, and others that are sort of in the middle. So you each learn a somewhat different thing depending on your level of expertise in types of technology. So warm up for later use of PowerPoint is one thing. You want to do 6 slides and 2 graphics, and you can use any high-profile court case. A lot of times they've used O.J. Simpson, Mike Tyson, Robert Blake. They can use any of these kinds of cases where you can get media images with diagrams or slides, pictures that you can throw in there. Do not do really sophisticated things that create high file size. The reason is that we cannot work with those. It creates too big of a file size. Sound or motion in your slides. File size does not work. Gets too big for the Dropbox. So don't do those. Complete it according to directions. You get 5 points. Make it illustrate the case. It's a good visual aid. You get 5 points. Here's your live lecture quiz phrase, present with graphics. If you take a look at the discussion, take a look at the one built into Microsoft Office, which is Access, and study that a little bit and use that for discussion post. So organize basic data. So we're going to this. And let's see, I got to make sure that it shows up. Okay. So we're going to electronic databases. And I would definitely read through this and try to figure out how it works. What is a database? How does it work? Talk about it in the discussion and enjoy it. The whole table is organized in both rows and columns. The field is the vertical columns, and a record is the horizontal row. So it's not too much different than Excel, but it has some differences. The terminology is different. So think about creating a database, and of course, we're doing a kind of a small one with just a contact list. But think of doing one that populates across into other things, such as with case map, abacus, where once you enter a name, it can show up all kinds of places. And then, of course, something that could result in you creating reports. For instance, revenue from a given company that's a client. If a corporation is our client, we can find out not only what the revenue was last month, but how fast they pay after billing and all kinds of things. How much we're really making based on our billable and non-billable time we're spending with the company, because there's always non-billable time, sort of just promotional. Will they hire us for this case? We may have to do a presentation and we don't get paid for that. For corporations, like I say, they may it may be worth it to spend some time with them to explain what we would do and what parts we would not do based on the expertise of the lawyers in the firm. But then, of course, our revenue may not be what we think it is just by looking at one single number of how much we collected from them. So the reports can be sophisticated if you buy sophisticated software. You could also start with Access, and you can create your own sophisticated list. And this is the one we're working on, is the contact list. Basically, I created the beginnings for it, and then I wanted you to basically straighten it out, make it work, fix it. And this does show you how to create relationships of it. So think about these choices as you do the discussion, and just look them up. Again, one of my favorite ways to look at alternatives is to just go to lawyerist.com. With Microsoft Word, I think this is kind of neat. You can delete formatting with just one click, but you have to find the little icons. The little eraser icon. See that? Discussion, 5 points, interaction, 2 posts, and 5 points, use of a cited source. Lawyerist.com works. The text works. Show logic. Databases. It does change as new versions appear. Ask for assistance. Definitely ask for assistance if you have a Mac computer. Using the Microsoft Access help, use tutorials or helps. Save the Access database so the file name includes part of your own name. Use a standard Access file type. Do not use a PDF. Do not use zip. do not make it a template or anything, or it messes it up. I do have an announcement about that. You do need to get things in the right order, alphabetical by first name ascending. You may need to re-enter data. I would do an extra save as so you have a file that you can experiment with in terms of sorting and filtering data. Use Access Excel or both to create a contact list. If you want to be sure of getting all 8, do both. Alphabetical order, 4 points, and accuracy, 3 points. That's just another graphic, but we will go to Access. So what do we end up wanting? We want this in there, which you may have to retype part of it, but we don't want it exactly like this. We want it alphabetical by first name. And of course, you have the name, job title, email, and phone. And the phone numbers should be consistent, but aren't. You don't have to fix that, but know that in the real world, you would try to fix them so they would be totally consistent, okay? We will share, again, the access. And this will tell you about it. You can use this. And then, of course, you can open a dialog box and type. I clicked on that. Smith, Smith, and Smith. And I believe Barbara is an attorney. So I have to type it the first time. Then it will always be there. And we're going to use business all the time. And I'm not trying to get the phone numbers right. You would have to go back and forth a little bit, wouldn't you? And you can sort these if you want to, okay? You could sort them by last name or by first name and so on. I'm doing Lindsay Smith now. And now that I've typed attorney in, now it will show up whenever I want it. Oh, I want business. And this is a fictional phone number. So you just keep filling in, and when you're done, you're done. But you do want to, you have to enable content, and then you have to save. It's tricky because you do not want to save it. You don't want to save it with any odd things. Don't save it as a template. Don't save it as anything except regular access database, okay? Because otherwise that won't work. These files are not readable then. And then you put your name there. And let me know when there are problems. So text me on those.